Hey there, I'm CJ Maurer with The Gist. Welcome back to another one of our strategic HubSpot tutorials. Today we're going to talk about user and team management. How can you organize all of your users into teams, manage their access, their permission, their notification profiles, and what are the best practices for managing all of the users in your account? Let's dive in. We're going to start really simple and use an analogy. Let's say you're creating an individual user. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that, and then we're going to take a step back to show you how you can do this at scale. So if you want to create a user, you go to settings. Once again, the gear icon in the top right will take you to settings, and then under account management, you will see users and teams. Today, we're actually doing this in our actual portal, not my demo portal, which is where I shoot most of my videos. Now, I'm going to click the big orange button, create user. And I am now going to create a user. I'm going to create info@retunemarketing.com. That is the email address for Matt Riley, who I'm looking at right now, who is standing behind the camera, the man who shoots and produces all of our videos. So let's say this isn't actually happening, but Matt Riley is becoming an employee of The Gist, and he's going to start doing marketing for us, so I got to invite him into HubSpot. I can just create him manually, or if you want to upload users in bulk, you can do so with a CSV file. It's very simple. Either way, I am going to hit next. Now, there's a couple of things that you consider when creating the user. First is the seat assignment. View-only seats are free and unlimited. Core seats can do just about anything that you program them to do within the CRM, except they don't have access to the advanced productivity tools, right? They won't have essentially unlimited templates, sequences, playbooks, and meeting links. Those are only available in the sales and service professional seats. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to offer Matt a core seat because let's just say he works in marketing, so he doesn't need to be enrolling contacts and sequences all the time. That's what a sales rep is going to do. Now, once you give somebody a core seat permission, that's only the beginning of it. You have yet to customize all of their permissions and access. So the next thing you're going to do is you are going to choose how to set the access. Now, you can make them a super admin, which means, as the name suggests, they can do and control anything. You can use a template, and HubSpot has a lot of really cool out-of-the-box templates where if you're not really sure, hey, I could just make him a marketing manager, and it shows you the list of things that he has access to. So you can see, right, CRM objects, lots of access, CRM tools, all of the marketing tools, but not really much on the sales side. Like he's not going to be editing our products and line items or quote templates or, forecasts or playbooks, right? So you can see everything that's included there. But for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to start from scratch because I want you to understand all of the options you have for permissioning your users. Now, once you do this, you can save these as a template and then apply them to other users, right? You can even create with enterprise accounts, custom permission sets and custom notification profiles, but we'll get to that in a second. But first, for example, if you want to set a permission set that's applied to all reps, you're going to have to think through it manually first of what you want. Then you save it as a template or a custom permission set. Then anytime you hire a new sales rep, you can just apply those permissions to them. We get a lot of questions about this, specifically from sales teams. That's one scenario because sales leaders essentially want to prevent infighting among their reps, right? They want to avoid conflict as much as possible. Where do sales reps often have conflict? When they're fighting over the same lead. So how can you use the seat allotment, the team organization, and permissions to prevent that? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about contacts. Now, contacts is one of the primary objects in the HubSpot CRM. There are obviously many others, but there's a couple of things that you can choose to permission on when it comes to contacts. First of all is what contacts can they view? All contacts, only contacts their team owns, or only contacts they own. Now, why would you choose these various things? Well, personally, if Matt is playing in a marketing role, I think he should be able to view all contacts. And that should be true for a lot of your CRM users, especially customer service reps, right? They should be able to view all the contacts or companies in the CRM. Now, what if you have like different sister companies or subsegments of your organization that don't really need to see contacts that aren't owned by them or their team? That's where you can choose one of these, right? One, you may have a sales team, and if your sales team, you only want your sales team to be able to see contacts that they own or their team owns, you can pick one of these, obviously. Personally, I'm a fan of, as much as possible, at least allowing people to view all contacts. The next one though is edit. So edit means, obviously, you can go in there and change properties. It also means you can place activity on those reps. So what is very common for sales teams is users will say, our sales reps can view all contacts, but they can only edit and communicate with contacts that they own. What they may also do is say, you know what? They can also view and edit contacts that are unassigned. So what that allows for is if a lead comes in and it's not assigned, right? Ideally, you would want your workflows to proactively and automatically assign leads by some type of formula, territory, or whatever. But if there ever are unassigned leads, you want your sales reps to be able to scoop them up and start reaching out to them. And then you have to make a decision around deleting contact. It's very common to say, no, we don't want individual users to delete contacts. We want our CRM administrators to decide if and when contacts are deleted, right? Now you have that same thing for companies, for leads, for deals, for tickets, for tasks. You get the point here, right? Like as you go down, you have all of these options for the main CRM objects. Then you literally go through all of the CRM tools. Communicate is a big one, right? This is another one that's important, especially when you're talking about sales teams. Do you only want to communicate with records they own or records their team owns? I can't answer this question for you, but what I can tell you, what often happens is for a sales team, it's usually either they can only communicate with records they own or their team owns. Customer service team, it's usually either their team or all records, right? Because if a customer service rep is out, you want somebody else to be able to work and respond to their customers to cover for them when they're on vacation. So I don't want to go through all of these. These are for you to read and understand. What's great is they have descriptions for all of these, and it's very easy to figure out what each of these permission settings allows and doesn't allow. So let's say you have created all of your permissions for your user. Now you're going to create the user, and you're going to make sure that an invite link is sent to them, and then you hit done. So now I've created a user. I can see that the user is showing up right here. If I click into this user, I can see more information, invite pending, and now you're gonna have a lot of information about your users, their access, their activity, when was the last time they logged in, and oftentimes you'll have a lot of action logs here so you can see the things that they have done. Once again, you can resend invites, deactivate users. You have all of those controls here. The next thing that you're going to want to do is organize your users into teams. So I'm going to create this team called test team, and I'm going to make Matt a member of that test team. And you know, for the heck of it, I'll use my other account and I'll put myself in there as well. You can, for every team, you can have main team members or extra team members. The reason why I can't be a main team member is because I'm already a main team member in another team. So every user can belong to one main team, but then they can belong to multiple extra teams. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. I'm going to remove me because there's an issue here. I can't create the team because he did not respond to the invite yet. Okay, no problem. So now you can group all of your users into teams. And why is this relevant? As you saw from when we were creating the user, sometimes permissions are based on a team. So if you want people to only view or edit or communicate with records that anyone in their team knows, you need to get those team assignments right. Also, in workflows, there are functionality that allows you to rotate assignment of records within teams or notify anybody on a specific team. So for example, when a deal is moved to close one, maybe you want to trigger a workflow that goes out to everybody on the onboarding team. Well, you better make sure that all of your users on your onboarding team are created, permissioned right, and grouped within the onboarding team. Once you do that, that's where you can get into set presets for large amounts of users. The other cool things that you can do, like I said, is you can save permission sets as templates and then apply them to users moving forward. And you can also do this with notification profiles. So maybe you've had complaints from your reps that they get too many emails from HubSpot, right? Maybe they don't need an email anytime a record is assigned to them or anytime a task is created, because perhaps you have configured those workflows, those notifications custom through workflows. Maybe you want to control what types of notifications they get for different types of scenarios, right? As you can see here in the notifications tool, there are so many things that you can get notified about, right? If I just look in the CRM category here, there's a bunch of random use cases, but a lot of things will center around contacts being created, right? Contacts in companies, when one's assigned to you, when's mentioned, then what type of notification do you want there? Email, bell, browser, pop-up. You can enable or disable these globally. So there's just so many opportunities for control and customization here, but these are the little things that ultimately affect somebody's experience in your CRM. If your users are always able to do the things they need to do, they're not having to come back to you and say, oh, you asked me to do this, but my permissions won't let me, or I don't get notified about these important things, or I get too many notifications. That's going to create resistance and get in the way of CRM adoption. So even though like user and team management feels a little, unsexy, like window dressing, it's really, really important to get it right. To wrap this up, when you want to think about managing your users and teams, start custom manual for a specific type. Manually think about all of the different permissions you want them to have, as well as notifications. Then save them into a template or create custom permission sets and notification profiles. That way you can easily apply them to anyone else on that team, both currently and in the future. And then speaking of teams, organize them into teams. Even if you don't know that you're going to have team-based notifications or account ownership assignment rules, just do it now, because you'll need them in the future. The more you use HubSpot, it's going to come in handy. That is user and team management. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, please like the video or hit subscribe. Honestly, aside from helping us, it really helps more people like you learn more about HubSpot and understand all of the use cases. And also, I want to plug our newsletter, The Spotlight. It is a weekly email Monday morning, comes out at 10 o'clock your time, whatever time zone you're in. What we do is we take one of these strategic HubSpot use cases and tell you everything you need to know. You can watch the video, read the breakdown, list out the use cases, everything. So if you want these use cases delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, click the link in this description and go subscribe to The Spotlight. Once again, I'm CJ Maurer with The Gist. Love making these videos for you. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.